So, sa akin kasi, I guess mine is very specific din kasi to my context. Kasi where I get my mental strength is my faith. So,
Mm.
that's really where everything is anchored on eh. Kasi I'm not relying on myself eh. I'm relying on the Lord. If He is the creator of the universe, then I have, alam mo yun, parang hindi ko kailangan mag-worry. Sometimes,
Mm.
especially nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, um, parang it led me to get to know him more. So I had to look into the word more, spend more time with it. And the more that I got to know him, the more na I realized na wow, he's a God who is sovereign and good. So I know na even if things don't seem like they're okay at the end, in the end of everything, parang yung ultimate is still good. There's still good in the ultimate, even if the proximate seems like it's not, because an ultimate God who is ultimately good is ruling over everything. So uh,
Mm.
personally, that's what I believe, and that's also what I teach to the kids that we teach actually, because the owners of their homes are also they're actually Christian homes as well. So we do
Mhm.
have the same worldview, and that's where we anchor our strength. That's where we anchor our motivations. It's always to bring him glory and even discipline, because yung mindset na even if no one's watching, God's watching. Even if no
Mhm.
human being is watching, he's watching. So 100% of the time you have to be at your best because he's watching you. And alam mo yun, parang he spared he gave his life for us. So what more can we what I mean, he gave his life for us, so um we are his. So
Mm.
anytime na we think something is difficult to do, anytime na we don't feel like doing this, but he wants us to do it, so I do
Mm.
it, 'di ba? I submit to him and I do it. So that's if that's my most honest answer, because I can't give any other answer, because that's really how I think, and that's where I anchor my strength mentally, and that's also what I teach to the children that we teach. Kasi nga
Mm.
very very deep yung mga pinagdaanan nilang troubles
Yeah.
in life, 'di ba?
Mm.
So yeah, that's the most real thing I can say.
Yeah, that facet of your life talaga is a great help, and it's a for if you really have a strong faith, hindi mo mararamdaman na ang laki na pala ng tulong bigla, like it could come unexpectedly. Yun nga yung mga miracles then that could happen na, if you have a strong faith and strong belief, it could happen talaga. And it helps you also, especially in the tough times. And I wanted to ask lang, like, yung mga kids nga, you teach a lot nung with this whole project that you have, especially them, they've encountered a lot already in their life. So paano mo naman masasabi sa mga audience yung importance ng self-defense or martial arts in the development and growth of a child? Kasi I don't know, maybe some parents will say na wag muna yan, try mo muna yung ibang sport, ganyan. Pero this aspect of their life is also important.
So, yung teaching them jujitsu actually, somehow, if you teach it right, because there's also a right way of teaching it, and there's a way of teaching it that's not good for the child, diba? So
Mm.
it's also, I think, what kinds of values do you teach along with the skills? I think that's
Mm.
very important if you're a parent, or if you know of parents who are looking for jujitsu schools, look up their instructors. Research them, stalk them on social media, look at the kinds of values that they show, kasi
Mm.
lalabas yun sa maths eh. Kung ano
Mm.
yung saloobin ng tao, lalabas yun when they teach this to the children. And the children are gonna be looking up to the coaches as well. So, when it comes to why kids should learn this, one is, if yun nga, prerequisite is okay yung instructors. So, one is, it's gonna help them regulate. It's gonna help them
Mm.
regulate their emotions, their aggression kung may ganong klaseng issue, their energy. Kasi 'di ba ang bata sobrang daming energy niyan, eh, Jiu-Jitsu teaches you
Mm.
control, 'di ba? Yes, there are
Mm.
techniques na you submit people, there are techniques na you throw people, but in
Mm.
Jiu-Jitsu, it's always done with control. You never do it na
Mm.
sabog, alam mo yun? So,
Mm.
it teaches you that. It teaches you to control yourself actually. Control yourself.
Mm.
So, for a child, of course, yes, there's the self-defense aspect, but even the self-defense aspect, um there's also like a, well, I'm not the expert in self-defense. Actually, I'm more an expert doon sa sport aspect. So I can
Yeah,
speak
yeah.
more for the sport aspect. But when it comes to self-defense, yes, jiu-jitsu is known to have a self-defense aspect to the martial art. But I think that learning the sport in itself, kasi it teaches you to have presence of mind in situations that are under pressure. So literal
Mm.
na under pressure, kasi literal na pinipisa ka ng kalaban mo, 'di ba?
Oo.
So literal na pressure, and also pressure din, mental pressure. Kasi I think self-defense naman, it starts with this, eh. Parang having the
Mm.
presence of mind kapag yung sitwasyon is delikado na. Kailangan
Mm.
ma-recognize mo na it's a dangerous situation, and you have to run away from it before actually doing something that will even engage the aggressor more, 'di ba? So before the
Mm.
contact happens. So that can that can be learned in the sport, having the presence of mind in
Mm.
situations that might be dangerous for a child. But I wouldn't say na I'm an expert in teaching the actual like self-defense moves, ganun. Kasi I'm more of dun sa sport aspect ng jiu-jitsu. But there are experts. There are experts who can teach that aspect of the sport.